Pompeii is only the most famous example because across the ancient world, other cities were also sealed away when disaster arrived all at once. Fire, ash, mud, flood, earthquake, and abandonment could stop a living city in mid-breath and leave its streets almost untouched. At the edge of a buried quarter, a lost street waits in the half-light, as if the last footsteps have only just faded. These cities had roads, walls, water channels, and storage systems that were designed to make fragile settlements endure unstable land and weather. Yet the same dense networks that kept people alive could turn deadly when one shock spread through the whole city at once. A forgotten capital can look silent for centuries, even when its markets, homes, and public buildings were once overwhelmed in a single moment. Along a riverbank or volcanic slope, geography could shelter a settlement for generations before turning in an instant into its destroyer. Ash, sediment, and debris sometimes sealed roofs, tools, and household traces so tightly that daily life survived as a physical record. Pottery, foundations, inscriptions, and street plans then turned destruction into evidence, letting archaeologists rebuild the shape of a lost city. And many lost cities were found only by accident, when farmers, diggers, erosion, or construction work broke open the ground centuries later. Ancient cities were not fragile by accident. They were built with roads, cisterns, walls, and granaries that tried to tame unstable worlds. But those same systems also made a city dense and interdependent, so one earthquake, flood, or fire could break many lifelines at once. In some places, collapse was sudden enough that a capital or district seemed to vanish overnight, leaving no clean transition between life and ruin. Geography could shelter a settlement for centuries, then turn against it when a river changed course or a volcano reawakened without warning. When ash, mud, or sediment arrived fast enough, it could seal roofs, tools, and bodies of work beneath a heavy lid of preservation. That is why archaeologists can read a city through pottery, foundations, inscriptions, and street lines, as if tracing a map left behind by disaster. A lost quarter becomes legible not as rubble, but as evidence of houses, workshops, streets, and public space arranged with intention. Some cities stayed hidden for centuries because rivers shifted, dunes advanced, or farming soil quietly rose over the old streets. Then chance breaks the seal, and a farmer's plow, a ditch, or a foundation trench cuts into a buried wall that has waited for ages. In that moment, a vanished city stops being legend and becomes an excavation, with its first visible stones asking to be understood. Across the ancient world, one disaster could seal a city in an instant, turning fire, ash, mud, flood, or collapse into a brutal form of preservation. From a distance, such streets could look abandoned by choice, yet the details show interruption: a jar left on a threshold, a cartwheel in the dust, a lamp still hanging beside the door. Ancient cities were often engineered with roads, cisterns, walls, and storage rooms, but those same tightly linked systems could fail together when the shock came. When earthquake, fire, or inundation hit all at once, the same density that made a city powerful could make its collapse immediate and complete. That is why some buried capitals do not read like slow decline, but like a moment arrested, with streets, courtyards, and homes all cut off together. Geography could protect a city for centuries, until the same river, volcano, or floodplain that sustained it became the force that buried it. Ash, sediment, and debris sometimes sealed buildings so completely that tools, furniture, and daily traces survived with astonishing clarity. For archaeologists, the smallest clues, pottery rims, foundation lines, inscriptions, and street grids, turn ruin into a readable map of the past. Many lost cities return to history not through legend, but through an accident of digging, erosion, or construction that struck the buried edge first. In that instant, a city that had vanished from memory becomes evidence again, and its silence begins to speak.